afternoon and welcome to the Midday News for Thursday, April 2. I'm Carrie Simpson. A special welcome to our viewers on YouTube, TVJ International in the Cayman Islands, and online at onespotmedia.com. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
Indicom probing another fatal police shooting in Land Settlement, Manchester. Government to introduce AI legislation. And later in sports, Jamaica jets off for Carifta game set for this weekend.
Thank you for joining us. Now the details. Up first this afternoon, watchdog group Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal JAMP is calling for the law to be enforced when entities fail to provide the Auditor General with information during audits. This follows discussions on the Auditor General's report on the University Hospital of the West Indies, which highlighted several breaches at the facility. Executive Director of JAMP, Jeanette Calder, says the report indicates that the Auditor General was unable to receive information on several contracts from the hospital. Now, technocrats from the UHWI were able to provide that same information to the Public Accounts Committee on Tuesday.
No documentation can be given to an Auditor General for the entire period of this audit. However, Mr. Hostin goes in as the new CEO and insists in whatever way he's able to do it. And they have now found almost everything, 28 and then 22. And he advised that an extra one that we called incomplete was actually found. That is actually a breach of the law to not provide the Auditor General with documentation. And I believe, Dion, there are reasons why they are withheld. Sometimes, I don't know in this case, but there is also sanctions in the law, and we never, ever, ever enforce those sanctions.
Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, Julian Robinson, has disclosed that the principal of Jackden has repaid the amount he saved through the University Hospital of the West Indies tax exemption status. Now, Jackden Limited, of which People's National Party Member of Parliament for St. Andrew East Central Dennis Gordon is the Chief Executive Officer, was one of 4 companies that benefited from the University Hospital's tax exemption status. Mr. Robinson says Mr. Gordon told him that a little over $10 million has since been paid to the University Hospital of the West Indies.
$1 million. I don't think it has been said publicly, but he indicated that to me prior to the meeting on Tuesday. He recused himself from the meeting, which I indicated at the start of the meeting, but he indicated that that payment was in fact made to cover what those duties were.
The other companies that benefited through the tax exemption status are Supreme Laundry Services, Wilman Sales, and Scientific Medical Services. To other news, Land Settlement in Manchester remains under police focus following recent violent incidents, including the fatal shooting of a 4-year-old and the injuring of her father. The Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, is now probing another fatal police shooting in the community on Wednesday afternoon. 32-year-old Tajre Thomas, otherwise called Bumdem, of Melrose Gardens was shot and killed. A relative who requested anonymity told TVJ News that he was at home next door when he heard explosions shortly after 4 p.m. He said he ran outside where he saw police at Tajre's house and later learned that Tajre had been shot.
When he come back now, he was diagnosed with bipolar. But even through that, everybody knew him already, knew him before the sickness. Everybody love him, respect him, everything. Elderly, young children, everybody love Tajiri. That Tajiri represent. Everybody want to know why. Even as a matter of fact, in our house, why? We can't get no answer. Nobody knows anything. We have to just wait and just wonder and think outside or something. I don't know what this is because this. Tajiri is a person. Sometimes if you don't hear him, you don't know what's over there. In the house, and in that if you want something shop, you go shop and come back and in that.
Another relative said the family is in shock, describing the deceased as popular and well-loved in the community. Meanwhile, a police source reported that a pistol was recovered from the house. With Artificial Intelligence Readiness Report officially launched, Minister without portfolio responsible for Science and Technology Andrew Wheatley says next on the government's agenda is the introduction of legislation.
As artificial intelligence rapidly reshapes how we live and work, the government says it's moving to put guardrails in place. Minister without portfolio with responsibility for science and technology, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, says the process has begun.
With both the National AI Policy recommendations and the UNESCO's readiness assessment now complete, we are moving forward with the drafting of Jamaica's National AI Policy, anchored in our Vision 2030, grounded in UNESCO's AI ethics principles and shaped through continued national dialogue.
Dr. Wheatley stressed the involvement of all sectors will be key.
This policy will be developed transparently, submitted through the proper channels to the Cabinet, and go through the Cabinet process to ensure that we have the widest input as is possible, and implemented through a dedicated coordination framework.
He contends that AI can be leveraged as a driver of productivity in sectors like agriculture, tourism, healthcare, and public services.
We need AI-specific legislation addressing accountability, biases, and explainability. We need stronger institutional infrastructure for AI governance, including a National AI Oversight and Implementation Council. We must expand AI education from early childhood through tertiary and vocational levels, close the gender gap in STEM, and scale community-based AI literacy across the country.
Even with AI's explosion, globally, very few countries have a legislative framework governing its use. The EU AI Act, which officially became law in August 2024, is the world's first comprehensive horizontal AI regulation. Janella Precious, TVJ News.
A public health specialist is calling for greater collaboration to address critical health issues affecting the population. The issue was raised at a recent business seminar at the University of Technology's Western Campus.
Despite policies by lawmakers, statistics reveal that many Jamaicans remain unaware of non-communicable disease (NCD) status. According to the Jamaica Health and Lifestyle Survey 2016-2017, more than half of Jamaica's population suffers from pre-obesity, 2/3 have elevated blood pressure, and 1/8 have diabetes, while a quarter suffers from pre-diabetes. Just under a fifth have cholesterol, and 4/10 of persons with hypertension or diabetes are unaware of their condition. And for those who are aware, under 30% are under control. It is against this backdrop calls are growing for a collaborative effort to enforce effective implementation.
The bigger picture is that our health affects productivity, and productivity affects development. If we have a healthy population, we will have a stronger workforce. We'll have reduced healthcare costs. We'll have improved quality of life.
Speaking at a business seminar at the University of Technology Western Campus Wednesday, public health specialist Dr. Marcia Johnson Campbell contends that while the problem is complex, the Ministry of Health alone cannot achieve this.
We may even go ahead and make the policies, but if it is not implemented, if it is not enforced, it fails. The tobacco regulations still have not been effectively enforced. And everywhere you go, even though it is prohibited by law to be smoking in public places, to be smoking in places close to where children are going to be active, it still happens and nobody does anything about it. Research without application stalls.
It is why she's calling for greater collaboration to implement enforcement.
The Ministry of Health and the regional health authorities from the public sector, working with industry employers and insurers in the private sector, with the research, innovation, and training coming from academia and in the community, civil society, our citizens, you, students, academic staff, you, every one of us have to be working together.
Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.